All right. Hello, everyone. Dirk N. This is Coach Pierce.
Coach Baxter.
Coach Baxter. It is Friday, February 9th, 2018. Here to do my career interview, and let's get started. All right. So, gentlemen, could you guys tell me what your current job title is and how long have you been having this role?
I am a physical education teacher. I have been teaching for 9 years, and I was a physical education para for 5 years before that. So I've been with Polk County Schools for 14 years.
I believe you were at Lockman Oaks before.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. My nephew went there, Xavier, and now he's here. So.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm also a physical education teacher, at least I like to think so. He tells me otherwise. But I've been at it for only a few months now in the public school system, but I've taught in non-traditional classroom settings for almost 6 years. So.
Oh, awesome. And then, how did you guys get this job? How did you land your position?
I started off as a para for 5 years while I was still in school. When I finished, I transitioned first into a first grade class, but my goal was to get back into PE, and within a year I was back into PE.
How about you?
Went to school and studied sport management, had a concentration in physical education and whatnot. I said I had that experience prior to getting, especially dealing with large groups and whatnot. Coming into the school system here in Polk County was actually new to me, just with what they wanted to do, their rules and stipulations and whatnot. So that portion of it was new, and I got it just by simply applying and got an interview, nailed the interview, whatnot. My experience spoke for itself, and they let me in.
So, like, experience is a big part about it?
Yes, absolutely.
Can't walk in this with no experience, expect to do well.
Yes. 5 years of para definitely helped.
What would you guys say is most enjoyable about your job?
I'd say the most enjoyable part is building relations with the children, especially working at an elementary school. You get to see them from kindergarten, and you get to see that development from kindergarten up to 5th grade. So you get to spend 6 years with them. You really get to see them grow, and from what you started with to see the end product is absolutely amazing.
How about you?
When I first started, I didn't notice. I think back to my child, I didn't notice how those PE classes help simple skills that I use every day today. And I think one of the coolest parts has been seeing those simple skills, like how to hop, how to jump, how to skip, how to use your cardiorespiratory endurance, how to jump over a rope as we were doing today. Those simple skills carry on later, which we're like, oh, we know how to do that, but it's really PE that taught us to do those things.
Awesome. Yeah, I can definitely relate, because when I was in the elementary school, that's where you learn good sportsmanship, how to work as a team. So I definitely agree with you guys. All right. How about when you guys work as PE coaches? Do you guys work in a group as a team, or is it like you guys do your own separate thing, or is it a team effort?
It's kind of a combination of both. Everything is planned together, but on certain activities, he may be teaching one certain thing for a week while I'm teaching another. We may flip-flop. Sometimes we teach in a whole group setting, like today where we did the jump ropes. It was a whole group setting where we kind of rotate through the different groups. There's other days where we're doing games where we break them up into smaller groups, and he may teach one game, I may teach another game. So it's kind of a combination of both, but everything is planned together with a process of how are we going to do this plan? Will it be separate? Will it be together? What will work best for the group of children we have?
And working with him, with all the experience he has, and he just has fantastic ideas too. It's easier when you have a good team. Like, I have no issue feeding off of him, and vice versa. So it's just like we come in and things seem simple. For some people, that may be a little bit different. If we have someone who's more difficult, or sometimes you get into the PE spectrum, and some people just want to stand around. Right. You have to constantly talk to them and talk to them and talk to them. Like, we've experienced some of our substitutes and whatnot. It gets different, but finding a good teammate and having that camaraderie, it makes it so much easier. Because you really don't have to tell them, do this, like they already know right off the bat to do it. So.
Yeah, you guys have chemistry, and you all get down, and you guys feed off each other. So that's great teamwork right there. It's probably great for the kids too. You really see that. So hopefully you want to do the same. Let's see here. What are some of the things you don't like about your job? You say, what's the least?
I'd say one of the biggest factors I think that comes with most PE teachers is number of students. If you saw out there, we had probably about 120 or so students. We have classes up to 130. Really? So numbers really really complicate the lessons and things we're trying to teach sometimes. So my biggest complaint would be numbers. If we had 2 classes out there with us adults, it would be fantastic.
I'd probably say the same thing, and not even saying it's a bad thing, because especially the size of the school, depending on what school you're at,
Right.
It just makes it very inconvenient sometimes to do some lessons. Like you have an idea, like this would be awesome, but I have 130 kids to put into groups, so you spend about 15 minutes putting them into groups. After you spend 10 minutes instructing, you really only have like maybe 25 minutes at the end of that to actually do the activity that's constant. So it's one of the most strenuous parts of doing it, just the numbers.
Yeah, it could be like, when I was out there today, it's like really intimidating. All the kids, you're definitely outnumbered, and you can definitely see that.
It feels that way sometimes.
All right. Could you guys describe your career path, or you guys kind of already answered that, but like.
I started off with the hopes of being a PE teacher. I went through process of school. I ended up moving to Florida along the way, so that kind of slowed down the school process. I eventually ended up becoming a para, which really helped me. My original goal was probably to teach high school and coach sports, but my first job as a para was in an elementary school, and I really fell in love with the idea of seeing them and teaching them from the basics and learning them from the basics, instead of getting someone who's had 10 years of school and then trying to work with them, then working with someone with this is their first experience at school, and then seeing them grow up into 5th graders, and now even seeing some of my students who have already graduated college, it was really rewarding, and that's what made me stay in elementary to this point.
How about you, Baxter?
My wife and I are both educators, and our passion is for children and their families and whatnot, just people in general. And so we actually started off our path when we entered college, doing after school group stuff, working in after school groups like for the YMCA. A lot of my experiences come from the YMCA and other summer camp stuff. I worked in part of settings where after he had them, I got them, and then we would basically practice the same thing. But as I was studying through school and I even worked sports sites and whatnot. I was a manager for sports sites, so coaching and refereeing and all other stuff. That knowledge was gained there. So as I was studying it in school and applying it out there, it made it more real. So when I came here, I was like, oh, okay.
It was like all like kind of like snowballed into like what you came to be right now. So
Yes.
that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely see myself kind of doing the same thing. Try to like get into coaching, maybe like my nephew's soccer team or something. Try to get to feel like how to teach kids, how to make them work together and stuff. So appreciate that. Got one more question. How about how would you say the environment here impacts your work? Like working with others. Is it frustrating? I don't know if that makes sense. How does this environment impact your work?
Anytime you're at a really large school, you have your positives and negatives. You get to meet so many different people from so many different places and so many backgrounds. But with larger numbers in any situation, it just creates difficulties in itself. So it has its positives and its negatives. Like I said, the positives being is meeting so many different children from so many different places, and getting to know them and building those relationships over the years and years and years in the families. One of the setbacks, like I said, is just having the large class numbers, having large groups of students in areas. So there are definitely positives and negatives to both.
How about you, Coach Baxter?
I'd probably say that the largest of the school, like for myself, this is one of the biggest schools I've been to, numbers-wise especially. And there's people you just don't know. It took me a month to get to know even all the elementary school teachers to a point where I had a relationship with them. There's kids that come out there I still don't know their names, and that part for me, wanting to know their names, like my brain can't hold that much.
Right.
So I may have their name that day and then forget the next day. But challenge-wise and whatnot, I mean, if you're truly passionate about it, like I said, nothing we're saying right now is too like, oh, it's crazy, big, because we're passionate about what we do. If you're passionate about it and you're willing to do it, it won't be as intimidating. But if you let it come, you overwhelm you, whatnot, that's usually why some people just leave PE after a while. So I can't deal with this anymore. It really takes a passionate person to stick it out and whatnot. And I enjoy coming here every day. I enjoy what it doesn't even feel like work sometimes unless I have to get down on a kid or whatnot. But
Yeah,
it's enjoyable.
That makes the job probably a little bit less enjoyable having like punishment and stuff. But I can definitely relate. Like growing up in Polk County, you're exposed to like all the different cultures, big melting pot. So I can see how that's a challenge and also like a benefit because I agree. Like if you're passionate about it, you can find a way to get through it. So I definitely agree with you. But I appreciate the time, guys.
No
I think
problem.
that nails it.
Thank you.
Nail this.
Bye, world.
So, thanks, guys.
You might.